All right, so I'm going to talk about two other triangle congruence theorems, and then I'm going to talk about some other cases where it looks like you have a theorem that works, but it doesn't work. Okay, and these are kind of popular mistakes people make. So starting out with these two, this is another theorem. This works, angle-side congruence, AAS. This tells me that if corresponding angles are congruent, and a non-included side, and I guess I should say non-included sides, are congruent, then our two triangles, ABC and DEF, are congruent. So notice the difference between, we talked about already we've talked about what? We've talked about side, angle, side, angle, side, angle, side. This is a lot like angle, side, angle. The difference is the order, and the order matters here. So angle, side would be a case like this. Remember, angle, side, angle was you had the two angles were congruent and the side in between the two angles. Here, suppose we have this. Angle A is congruent to angle D. Angle B is congruent to angle E. And now we've got another side, one of the sides that's not included. So the included side here would be AB, here it would be ED. Suppose we know this, that BC is congruent to EF. Turns out we can still say that the two triangles are congruent, but this time by AAS, not ASA. Okay? So, AAS, I've got angle A is congruent to angle D. Angle B is congruent to angle E. And BC is congruent to EF. So I can say triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF by angle, side. And it's important to make the distinction between cases where you can show it by ASA and cases where you can show it by AAS. And it's all in the order. Here we've got angle, side, angle, side. With the case of angle, side, angle, we had angle, side, angle, side, angle. Okay, so that's the difference. All right, last theorem we're going to look at, HL, hypotenuse leg. This applies only to right triangles, right? Because only right triangles have a hypotenuse. If the hypotenuses and one pair of legs of a right triangle are congruent, then the two triangles, ABC, DEF, are congruent. Right? What does that mean? Well, the hypotenuses, so here we've got ABC, DEF. They're both right triangles. If they're not right triangles, it's not going to be hypotenuse leg. That's not going to be the theorem we're looking for. So we need to, now we see we've got right triangles, so we can try hypotenuse leg. Okay, so if we know, for instance, the two angles are we got the right triangles. If we were to know that, say, the DE or AC and DF were congruent, so we know the hypotenuses are the same. And then one of the legs are the sides of the right triangle that aren't the hypotenuse. So either say AB or BC. So let's say we knew that AB and DE were congruent. That will be enough for hypotenuse leg. We could just say AC is congruent to ED. AB is congruent to D. Oh, what did I say? AC is congruent to FD. Apologize. AB is congruent to ED. So I've got my hypotenuse, I've got my leg. Therefore, triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF by HL. Okay? That would be an example of using hypotenuse leg. So we've got our 5 theorems, right? Now we've got 5 theorems over here. I'll just write them over here. Side, angle, side, angle, side, hypotenuse leg. These are the only 5. Memorize that. These are the only 5 congruence theorems. Now I want to show you two theorems that don't work, two things that people think work a lot of the time, and they don't. And I've even crossed them out on the paper just so you don't get confused. Okay, the first one is angle, angle, angle. People like to try this one. So if I've got, say, two triangles, and they may look congruent, they may even be congruent. But if all you're given is this information right here, that this angle and this angle are congruent, this angle, this angle, this angle, this angle, that all three pairs of angles are congruent, you don't know enough to say that the two triangles are congruent. You need something about a side. And the reason is that you can't just rely on the picture. You have to rely on what the information the picture gives you. You don't know. Maybe this one, it looks the same as this one, but maybe it's all the sides are just a little bit smaller than this triangle. In which case, the two triangles wouldn't be congruent. They are similar, and we know that AAA is a similarity theorem, but they won't necessarily be congruent. The other one that people try to use, which doesn't work, is SSA, side angle. And they look at a picture, and now pictures can be deceiving. They look at a picture and they say, oh, well, let's say, I'm just going to draw. Okay. Right. Suppose they've got, well, this side and this side are congruent. Yeah. And this side and this side are congruent. But these two angles are congruent. Okay. Oh, they're like, oh, well, I've got an angle. I've got a side. Oh, so I can probably use SAS. And then they're like, well, wait a second. It's not the included angle. The included angle would be this one over here, right? These two angles. I don't have that. I have this other angle. And so they said, well, maybe it's not side angle side, then it's side angle. And side angle does not work. Why doesn't it work? Quick example. I'll draw this paper over here and see if I can get all of it. Yes, excellent. If you look at this picture, look at the two triangles. Are they congruent? I mean, I think you can pretty clearly see that they aren't. But I've drawn it in such a way that AC and DF are the same length. So they're congruent. BC and EF are the same length. So they're congruent. And angle B is congruent to angle E. So those are congruent. So I have side, angle. Side, angle. Those two pairs of sides are congruent, the angles are congruent, but it's pretty clear that these triangles are not congruent. So side, angle does not work. And an easy way to remember this, we'll go back to the paper here, and you might want to write this. SSA does not work. For whatever reason, kids find this easier to remember. SSA does not work because SSA is ASS backwards. Now, I don't know why exactly, but students seem to have an easier time remembering it if they write this down. Keep that straight, okay? So SSA is ASS backwards, therefore can't use SSA. All right? Good to go.